Hello, my name's Tim and welcome back to Blame the Dice Wargaming. Today is part 2 of a series of videos that I'm doing where we were unboxing the ARCs, which we did yesterday, and today we are doing the BX Commandos for the Separatists. Let's get straight into it. Let's have a look what you get in the box. So this is part 2. Yesterday with the ARCs. Today we're going to focus on the BX units. So here we have them, the BX series droid commandos. These originally were the ones I was least interested to get because I didn't really see what difference they would add to the game. But in terms of a product development, FFG have knocked my socks off. So let's get it open and let's look into the box. So we have some shields. We'll come back to those shortly. We have 2 sprues, 1 and 2. And then of course all your cardboard and your instructions. So just like with the ARCs and all our recent releases, Padme Bane, we're now on the new and clearly more detailed instruction sets. And one of the things we'll point out, and it's probably becoming quite common here, is the range of options you can have, which is really, really nice. So let's start having a quick look through this, see if there's anything in here that's interesting. Yeah, looks like binoculars, guns, vibro blades. Yeah, similar kind of stuff across the base. Again, another range of options, including the gun sticking through the shield. I can't wait to see what that looks like when it's a model that's been made. Yeah, more of the same. More dynamic options. It looks like, even though everyone we know who plays Republic is going to have a copy of these, well, eventually when FFG sort out their distribution problems, or Asmodee, whoever is responsible for it, but it means, at least from my eyes, that we should not really be seeing the same sculpts. Even if we're taking the basic poses, we'll have the options to mix things up nicely. So let's look at what you get inside with all the cardboards. We've got plenty of cards, we'll come to those in a second. And we have 2 sheets of cardboard. So we've got your kind of standard fare stuff over here, 2 command tokens, 3 new grenade tokens, or Dioxis Charges essentially, but I think as a grenade they might be new. And we have got all these poison tokens and a load of shields, of course. So these are our unit cards. Like the ARCs that we've recently reviewed yesterday, we have got 2 different cards in here. So one is the strike team, one is the full squad. And I'll do it slightly differently this way. The main difference here is points. Strike teams is 20 points. The full squad is 68 points. And it's 4 minis versus 1. Very much the same with the scene previously. And the only difference in terms of keywords and abilities is heavy weapon team, so essentially you must have the heavy weapon in that squad, but otherwise identical. So now we're looking a bit more detail at what you get. So as I said, 68 points. These are special forces, 4 minis per squad. The droid troopers, which is nice for passing on tokens and for whatnot down the line. In terms of their characteristics, 1 health, 2 courage and red defense dice. They don't surge defensively, so they aren't as good as they could be, but they do surge on attacking. And with a attack pool of 2 white dice per mini, you're going to be glad of that because you're going to have as much chance of rolling a surge as you do rolling a hit, so that's great news for you. And range 1 to 3 is pretty good. Unarmed, they are going to be rolling black, so that's essentially your standard, nothing fancy about that. And then they've got a range of weapons you can fit them with. Grenades, a config pistol, we've got communications, we've got a training upgrade, and then we've got your heavy weapons upgrade. Now, we have a whole host of keywords, and we're going to start at the top with AI, dodge, move. So, unless you have a face-up order token, your first action must be dodge or move. So this is the first time we've seen this. We've seen plenty of times before AI attack. So essentially, their first thing to do is attack or move. This is dodge or move, so this gives you that extra level of sneakiness. So if you can't get to where you want to be, or you're going to be exposed, you can dodge, which is great news, which is going to help keep you alive for longer. Now these guys are also impervious, so that red attack defense dice has got a little bit better. So essentially, anyone trying to shoot at them with pierce, so your snipers or any of your kind of characters who have pierce baked into their standard guns, that's going to mean that they're going to be rolling additional red dice. These guys come with scale baked in, so essentially think of this as having ascension scales for free, ascension cables rather, for free. So essentially these guys will be able to cross difficult terrain as if it's not there. They're able to, at the start or the end of their movement, go up something as if they had expert climber. So these guys are going to really be able to get about. It's the same keyword you've got on Grievous, and we're seeing how manoeuvrable he can be on the table. Now next up, these guys have Scout 3. So they only have a movement of 2, but at the start of the game they can get a whole 3 onto the table. And lastly, we've got Sharpshooter 1. So when performing a ranged attack, the defender reduces his defense by 1. So essentially everything in heavy cover is in light cover, and in light cover you're in no cover, which is really nice. So let's have a look at the cards that we get with this mini. So I like to, whenever I can, start with the cards that we've seen before. Situational Awareness, this is its 4th appearance in the last 4 unboxing videos. So this one, you gain outmaneuver, 2 points, enables you to spend dodge tokens against crits, which is great news for really expensive units like this. For its second outing, we have got Emp Droid Poppers. I will explain this in a bit more detail again, because if you're not playing Republic, you might not have watched the unboxing for that. Essentially, this is the first new grenade since frag grenades. The key thing to notice here is it adds Ion 1. So when you attack with this in your attack pool, you are treated as having Ion 1 in the attack. But unlike your concussion, your blast, well, not your frag grenades, but those two, this isn't a cumulative attack pool. So one dice, say one grenade, impact 1, 2 grenades, impact 2, and so on and so forth. This doesn't work in that way. This is, doesn't matter how many of these grenades you throw, you will have impact, so you will only have Ion 1. So something to bear in mind, because otherwise it would be absolutely broken. But for 3 points, it's well costed as it is. Now I'm going to show you these two side by side. Now I wouldn't normally do that because these are different configs altogether. They're not like the other side of the same card. But because you only have one config option, these are your options. So if we start with the left, you can take the deflector shield. That's why we've got those awesome new shield tokens. And I want to point out, you can be doing that. You can have one of the models, the gun does stick through the shield, and it looks as amazing as that does in the image. So this is for the BX series droids only, no surprise. You gain shielded 2. So essentially, you have 2 shield tokens, and you also gain recharge 2. So when you recover, flip 2 inactive shield tokens. That is fantastic. And just to remind you about shield tokens, if you weren't sure for whatever reason where you've been playing droids, or if you're just checking this out because you're interested, these shield tokens work very much like dodge tokens. The difference is you can always cancel crits with the shield tokens. You don't need outmaneuver to do that. So that's just worth noting, and it might be if you don't have shields, then you probably will have outmaneuver. So the next option on the right is your Vibro Sword. This looks amazing, and I'm never going to be able to paint it and do it justice in as good as they have there. But if you have, post some pics on the Blame the Dice Wargaming group, because I'd love to see how good you can make them look. So this is a melee weapon. It's red dice and a white dice. Again, of the BX series only. You gain charge. So let's think about that for a second. After you perform a move action, you may perform a free melee attack. So not only can you Scout 3, so you are at big distance on the board, you can do 2 speed, 2 maneuvers, and attack at the end of this with a red and a white, and it's only 6 points. Now that's going to be a risky play considering the points you're paying, but if you wanted to stop somebody from getting on an objective token, this is going to be really fantastic. I'm looking forward to trying out either variant of this. I'm not sure which I'm going to like the most, because it's going to give you 2 completely different options. Either a gun line with the shielded 2, because you're going to have some incredible defendability with red defense dice, impervious and shielded 2, or whether or not you're going to go nuts and go charging at your enemy with I don't know, you could have offensive push and the Vibro Swords, and really kind of go get yourself stuck in there and run in with the attack with the ability to aim, to have aimed and to be charging, and to really make people suffer for the amount of hit dice you'll be hitting them with. And again, with this, they've given us some real diversity in how we can play them, and it really is going to make us be able to play these in very different ways. When we looked at the ARC Troopers yesterday, essentially their heavies were Echoes and 5s, and they felt like they were just incredible minis and would kind of add something really special to whatever squad they were in. This adds a whole different thing, in my view. So essentially, this adds a range 1 weapon, which is black and 2 white, and it's your Dioxis Mind Saboteur. So similar to what we've seen before, but I find this one a terrifying prospect. So essentially, add one of these to your squad. You, for a free action, gain not free action, for a action, you gain arm 1 Dioxis Charge, as well as detonate, mine, and blast with poison 1. So this essentially means that not only are you rolling a 3 attack with blast, so it's going to ignore cover, it's also got poison baked into it. It surges to hit, so it's going to enable you to essentially get a bit more variance with those white dice than you would do. And because it's got poison, you only have to get a hit on it for the poison to land, and another mini's going to die at the end of that unit's activation, which is fantastic. And your other option is the more standard option, I suppose you might call it. You've got a range 1 to 5 sniper, 2 red, so a pretty tasty attack pool as far as things go. Also comes with lethal 1, so essentially you can spend a aim token to give you Pierce 1, which is fantastic, and again it's immune to deflect, so if you're going to be shooting at Jedi, you've got that extra bit of reassurance that you're not going to have shots sent back at you, because we've all been in a position where we daren't shoot at Luke or Vader or somebody because they've got a dodge token and we know that they're going to be sending all those shots back at us. This circumvents that. So these are the sprues. I wanted to show you this, starting off with the shield token, because obviously we've got the plastic that comes with it, and this is how it fits over. Looks really, really nice, and I think that's going to be great. And I really appreciate them giving us some cuddled plastic, because I could never paint anything which would look nice like that. And here's the shields, you can see, with the holes in it. So when the gun fits through there, that the troopers have, it fits perfectly, it's snug. So it looks like that's just been pushed through the force field, and now they can shoot out of it, but maintain that shielded too. So we don't need to see these anymore because they are pretty much part of the course, but these are your minis. Let me tilt them to the light. Very similar in structure to your B1s, so very spindly, very light frames, that's absolutely fine. But it seems like they've been able to put a bit more detail into the I think things like the grooves and the mold lines and the joints. They seem to be sticking out a bit more. Now, maybe it's the actual mini itself. Maybe that's the way they are. These are maybe more robust models. So they have more detailed pieces. But everything seems to have a little bit more detail in it, or be a bit more refined. The guns, not so much. They seem about right. The Vibro Swords seem nice. Let's see if we can find one of the heads to have a look at. Where is it on the camera? There it is. Okay, so yeah, fairly simple, fairly straightforward, but one piece, thank goodness. I'm sure you all are still having nightmares about putting 2 pieces of the B1s together, but really nice looking. So let's take a look at the second sprue. More of the same, realistically. More shield tokens, more gun options. There you've got the Dioxis bomb in that hand there. Several head options. Yeah, lots of different options for sitting, standing, crouching. Sniper guns got a rest. Yeah, got the binoculars. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. The droids don't have a lot of variance because of the nature of their minis, but looks like it's gonna be fairly easy to put together. But because a lot of the joints seem to be socketed, ball and socketed rather than just a push pin and hole, so we should be able to have a bit more variance in the way we put them together. So let's take a look at what that looks like now. Okay, and here are our BX series battle droids, the Commandos. These are dead straightforward to put together, thank goodness. I think I'm still recovering from my B1 fatigue, but these models are really good. I really love the shields. Now ignore the kind of big blob in the middle, that's just blue tack I've put on just so I can take them off for painting, but the models are really dynamic and posable. Now the pose isn't supposed to look like this, it's supposed to just be kind of arm down the side, but just with a bit of plastic glue and moving things around, you're able to get quite a dynamic pose, which is going to enable you to have something that looks different to what your friends or your kind of opponents are going to be having. But yeah, there we go, simple model, but the shield, which I just love the simplicity of it, I love its transparency, is really, really nice. Okay, so we've got a few more models. So we've got this one, another shielded model. His gun's in his left hand, and I'm pointing that out because there's this one guy, and then the next 2 shielded ones are actually the same model. But I wanted to give you an idea of how easy it was to tweak them, so even 2 models for the same body and same arms can look completely different. But look at the way that sticks out. It's so nicely done. I'm so impressed with this. It really, really works, and I think just on the battlefield it's going to look incredible. So these 2 are the same model. Oh, front cover fell off that shield, but that's fine because you don't really need to see that. So essentially, this is your standard pose. Really nice, really dynamic. Looks like he's bracing against the fire while shooting back. I do like that a lot, but I didn't want to have two. So essentially, you've got the same body, but with some tweaks to the arms. So moving it from the top, you can bring it in. You've got two very different looking models. Now maybe I'm not doing myself any favours the way I'm showing that, but essentially when you see it from this angle, you've got the guy on the right who looks like he's really bracing and is kind of fighting people off, and I think the one on the left looks like he's advancing slowly and really kind of trying to kind of keep himself behind cover, but whilst he's moving forwards. But I think that works because despite them being the same model, they look different to me, which is good because who wants to have replicas on the table? We've got one standard model who doesn't have anything fancy, no shields, no grenade, no sniper rifle, but he does have the Vibro Sword there, which I really, really like. And I think the ball and socket type joints of these enables you to tweak and twist and manipulate your models. So I like the idea. This guy looks like he's heard something and he's snapping around to go and attack it. It seems to have a dynamic that makes me feel like this is not just a plastic bit of kit, which I like a lot. So here's your trooper with a Dioxis Charge. I've got him kind of leaning back with a grenade in. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine that is being thrown. That is the middle of being thrown. So he's got one arm up going forwards. He's got the Vibro Sword to pivot and bend himself. His back is kind of angled in the right direction. This is obviously the way I see this. And you don't have to be so aggressive with this. The arm could be down. He could have a gun in his other hand. He could have had a shield. Whatever you wanted to. I like the Vibro Sword and Dioxis Charge combination. That feels like what I'm going for. Apologies if you can hear some growling and some weird woofing in the background. I've got a half Cavalier, half Pug who sleep woofs and growls. She's the most unintimidating animal in the entire world, but during her sleep she thinks she's a Rottweiler and she's behind me barking away at something in her sleep. Anyway, this is your sniper rifle guy. Now this is the coolest pose I've seen. I think that looks like speed. That looks like you've got a robot who is hauling butt across the battlefield, going faster than any human can, really getting into a position so he can lay down some fire. And it just seems so streamlined, the kind of profile when you look at it. It just seems so like this guy is just getting his head down, he's built for speed, his gun's down, his head's down. He's taking up no space whatsoever. I think it's really, really sharp the way they've done this pose. Now, again, like the others, I've been trying to go as dynamic as I could. I put the leg very high, I put the head kind of looking kind of straight ahead, rather than like it was somebody who's got the gun up and he's kind of looking to bring a target down. I just think that looks really, really impressive. And that's the lot of them. These are going to be some great models in the battlefield. They look like they're going to be easy to paint, but also because they are quite unique in a lot of ways, there'll be little things we can be doing to pick them out, such as some of the arm details, there's a weird mask around the, mask's maybe not the right word, but that's what it looks like to me, we can bring out to do some painted on, and all the guns and all the details are really, really nice. Plus, hardly any mold lines, which is great, so there won't be much work for us to do at all. And there we go. That was the BX Commandos for the Separatists. Really nice unit, a lot of fun to put together, and with little to no thought at all. Some tweaking, you're able to move the arms and positions to create a unit that looks very unique and it can represent the way you want to play these, which is fantastic. So excellent work to FFG and the sculptors there for making it so easy for us to do. Plus, for keeping things simple, it was an easy unit to put together. It took me no time whatsoever, and it's going to be one that's going to be playable on the tabletop with, I think, without too much thoughts. I think these guys, it's clear what they do. You can either get them nice and close, start slashing and hacking with your Vibro Swords, or you can hold back, put up your shields, and just be an incredibly tough gun line, taking dodge tokens if you have not been given an order token, and then shooting, for example, or if you can kind of issue them order tokens, making that really count for them as a unit and get them in a good position to defend a lot of your other army. Anyway, fantastic unit. I hope your box has arrived. Lots of issues with getting them everywhere, and I said that in my last video, but we are where we are. No point getting too upset about it if we can avoid it, because of course we all want the stuff, but hopefully they'll be in stock again soon and we can get back on track with playing this game that we love when COVID has been less of a thing. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Do go check out our Facebook page, Blame the Dice Wargaming, and see what we're all about there. We've also got Instagram. John, one of our guys, puts on an awful lot of stuff. We've got so many games that we're playing right now, so there's lots of kind of insight. It's not just me rabbiting on about Legion. And keep your eye open. In the next couple of days, I'm expecting to get the ATST, I think that's what it's called, for the Republic, so that should be arriving too. But it's also going to be arriving with a Rebels one, so it'll be nice to compare the two, to see how much of a distance FFG have made, and also just to kind of look at the way they go together, because I'm going to run two of them, and I didn't want to buy two of them because I'm being cheap. But with a bit of luck, before we know it, we'll be having Inferno Squad, we'll be having Clan Ren, and Stap Riders, however they're pronounced, landing soon. So if you don't already, like, subscribe to the channel, because in the not too distant future there'll be more videos, and I'll go through what it looks like, what you get, and how they look when they're assembled in the kind of detail I've done tonight. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.